Hi everyone, this is audapostrophe. Let's check out Children of Morta on Nintendo Switch. I got the options here. That all seems good. Ooh, there's a narrator. Oh, hey, I don't have to do anything besides move the controller around. Ooh, nice art. That's the effect I have on Tinder.
Margaret awoke, startled, a cold sweat clinging to her. She gathered her thoughts. Aged wood creaked, echoing through the quiet rooms. Near the house stood a shrine to Rhea Dana, goddess and daughter of the land, of Rhea and a being of comfort. Margaret sought answers. But the goddess did not speak. There was only the faint whisper of something dark, something hungry.
Nom nom nom.
The old seer's bones felt the weight of their age as she climbed. The only thought on her mind, has it begun again?
Michael Finnegan.
John's mission would be a simple one. He was to investigate Rhea's greatest shrine. His mother presented him with a fresh divinity shard.
Where'd you get that? Yeah, I don't want to know.
From his brother came a newly sharpened sword. His wife gave him a kiss, and his daughter's hugs were full of reason to return home safe.
Move a character, use the left stick. Nice and smooth. Ooh, that's not quite 60 hertz. Got a little frame pacing issue here.
Rhea, a land long forgotten, a place of unimaginable beauty. It first appeared as sludge given life, slithering creatures, small and vile.
John, use his sword to attack foes. Press Y to use your primary attack. worse. Oh, what were you doing, Mr. Bunny? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Evade attacks at the right time to avoid incoming damage. The evade bar under a character's feet shows when they can evade. Press B to evade. Oh, I see. Well, you have to be pretty diligent looking for it, though. Not a very smooth scrolling game.
A wall, impeding further progress. A battle was certain.
John has special ability to use his shield to block incoming attacks. Hold L to use your shield. Planet of the Grapes. Get your filthy hands off of me, you damn dirty fruit. The Bergsons use their shard of life to cleanse corrupt objects. Press A to interact.
Banished by light itself, the corruption abated, leaving the shard cold in hand, dark, in need of life.
Greater chests require a gemstone to open. Gemstones are found in different places, like the Santal's corpse. Oh, okay.
The shard grew warm, humming softly from the harnessed energy.
Atar's ignition. Damage enemies burn in fire. Okay. Burn them with fire.
Before him was now one more dangerous than those that came before.
Jesus, he's hard to avoid. Gain XP as you kill enemies. When reaching a certain amount of XP, you will gain a skill point. You can use skill points to upgrade your abilities in the skill tree. Press minus to open the skill tree menu. Gain a skill point when you gain XP. Gain a skill point when you gain enough XP. Spend skill points to earn new skills. The selected ability's description can be seen on the right panel. Press A on the available skill to learn it. Upgrade Heaven Strike to level 1. Cost 1 skill point, sure. More skills become available as you spend more skill points. Press minus to close the skill tree. Okay. Alright, hold on a second. Okay. Oh, everybody drank too much grape juice. See? Stuff is disgusting.
Goblins, a familiar threat, albeit farther out than usual.
Try your newly learned skill. Press X to use your secondary attack.
Inherently violent and ill-bathed, the goblins were an unfocused but constant threat.
Ill-bathed too? Why, I never. Actually, that's true. I never ill-bathed.
Magnificent, but dangerous. A land of love found and of love lost.
Man, that scrolling really is rough. I'm actually surprised it's released as it is. It's not the worst scrolling I've ever had. That still goes to Troll and I on the Switch. But I don't think it should scroll like this.
Before him was sacred ground, left untouched in days gone by.
I mean, these low-resolution pixel art games, I would hope that they could perform better. But oh well. The rest of it's enjoyable.
Remaining calm and collected, the shock of his heart-skipping beats was concealed in expert fashion. Before him stood Linda, his eldest daughter, with bow and quiver at the ready, determined to do her part.
Create a temporary aura that damages nearby enemies. Let's see, electric apocalypse? Yeah. Divine relic, a gift from the gods. Use it in the fight to turn the tide in your favor. Press R to unleash the divine relic's power. Shield. It still hurts you though. What kind of shield is this? I mean, to me, the benefit of doing these low-res pixel games is that you know, you have a ton of system resources still available to make sure the game runs, you know, technically flawless. But that's that is disappointing to see, honestly. I mean, the Switch could do this game in its sleep. You know.
Before the Guardians were not beasts feeding, but monsters consuming, destroying others. They corrupted and distorted, creating even more hungry husks.
Hungry hippos. Those boobies. Put a age disclaimer on this channel. I mean, I do normally, but nobody young is watching this channel.
Both father and daughter gathered their thoughts, their hearts heavier than before. How would they explain what they had witnessed? the ancient tree had been cut down. Together, father and daughter described the horror, the creatures dripping with decay that slithered into bodies stuck between life and death to bolster their ranks. Grandma Margaret confirmed what they all feared. It was the corruption, a cruel entity spoken of only with hushed voices, an ocean of darkness that flowed from the top of Mountain Morta.
You're too loud about the corruption.
And the Bergsons' duty was to stand against this devouring deluge of death. Kevin was also eager to do his part in the family's fight, especially when his older brother Mark was off somewhere. He was as much a guardian of their mountain home as any of them. She stood. If they were to reach the summit and destroy this evil, as the Bergsons of old had done in the past, they would need the assistance of the sanctuary. Given to the Bergsons by Rhea herself, the sanctuary was a gateway to the mysterious lands around the mountain. Margaret pointed to the huge crystal at the center of the den, revealing their next task: to activate it and open the way to the source of the corruption. And once Rhea's 3 spirits are gathered on the grounds, the only gate to the top of Mount Morta will open in this chamber. By himself, or with the assistance of those who loved him, John needed to gather the 3 spirits from their lands. Without them, he would not be able to stem the flow of the corruption.
Oh, okay, you just select it. Alright, let's go to the... kill double caves. Silk caverns, 1 of 3. There are webs litter the ground, walls, and ceilings. Confirm! Oh, I can pick John or Linda, huh? Well, I've already kind of built John up. Oh, another player can join too. Oh, wow! I couldn't get anybody to play with me. In the game either.
A celestial shard, chipped directly from the ancient crystal in the sanctuary. It would be the Bergsons' lifeline, a tether to pull them back home before death's fateful whisper.
Silk caverns. Oh, an attractive portrait. Gravity well. back? It comes back? Huh. Well, it hurts me too. That's not so hot.
The Bergson began to slip away, wondering if this was death.
Oh, I guess I shouldn't have hit so many of those exploding bombs. Well, I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
They gasped for air as the celestial shard brought them back, a sensation no hero could become accustomed to.
I can't just go back? What?
As she heard John and Linda describe their foray, thoughts rushed through Margaret's head. The corruption had amplified the creature's wickedness, and no longer were they part of the harmony of the Rhea. With the new threats looming, Margaret asked Ben to prepare his workshop. He would have to take charge of enhancing the warrior family's weapons and armor.
Uncle Ben can upgrade and enhance the Bergsons' equipment, and also make a mean spot of rice.
Uncle Ben reached out to the familiar warmth of the forge. If they were to reach the top of Mount Morta, their equipment would need to be of the highest quality.
Ben's workshop is now unlocked. The Bergsons can upgrade their gear to grow stronger. Uncle Ben uses Morv to upgrade the entire family's weapons and armor, increasing their main attributes. These are the family's main attributes. The selected attribute description can be seen on the right panel. Press A to on an available attribute to upgrade it, which I can't pick anything other than this. Looks like it's to go. Yep, let's do it. I'm out of everything. Time to select. Ding, 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 ding. Hold on another minute. Oh, whoops. I was just trying to sit down. Well, yeah, judge me, game. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Strike Shield of Thorns. Melee attackers can take damage when blocked by a giant shield. Oh, why not? Not that I spent a lot of time using that shield.
One held a gift. Two hid ferocious creatures. It was the lady or the tiger or the Bergson.
Oh, whoops. It's weird that my dodge or my roll didn't seem to activate. I wonder if I have to wait until I'm completely done with my attack animation before I can roll. It didn't seem like that one in the first part of the game, but I was actually hitting my roll a couple times and it just didn't seem to work.
Kevin's need to help all began when his elder brother Mark left the house. His brother was strong, making any near him feel safe. But he left Kevin. Though Uncle Ben knew what his nephew needed, a focal point for his aspirations.
Okay. 2 gold. Okay, not quite there. Okay, so the game starts out difficult, yeah. I mean, maybe I'm just not playing it right, but it seems like you could die easy. Not like Dark Souls die easy, but you know, you certainly don't have a lot of health. You don't have like a lot of like combos or defensive options. You know, you can roll somewhat unreliably and you can block. You have your spells, of course, but you know, your spells cost a certain amount and you can't use them all the time. Oh, did the layout change? Oh, okay. Is it randomized? Yeah. I see your dodge mechanic. It's a meter that charges. Well, that's not great, I don't think. That's why I wouldn't dodge sometimes. I guess it's not Bayonetta. I notice I say that a lot. Not Bayonetta. Or Astral Chain. You know, a Bayonetta light. Oh, you're annoying. I just kept being just right outside my range. Oh, anything else here? I don't know, these procedurally generated levels, I'm never really satisfied with them. They always feel procedural. So I know they give you a certain amount of boredom, unlike, you know, pre-made levels that you see all the time. You know, so it's like, you know, I understand designers are trying to avoid that boredom that sets in if you know a level too well. Totally get that, but then you feel bored because procedural generation isn't interesting. So it's like, well, you really haven't solved the problem. But this to me feels more like Diablo, where the you know, like the exploration isn't the focus. It's more the combat and the character raising. I definitely don't like the fact that I just get dodged on a whim. Like I have a meter that does it. Guess they want you to use your shield more? I don't know, the shield doesn't block as well as dodging. I mean, if you're gonna make me fight all the time, give me as many options as I can get. I mean, the fighting is the gameplay. Yeah. Well, the scrolling seems to be better in here. It seemed like that larger outside world just didn't do any favors as far as the technology was concerned. You have found the finish room portal. Press and hold up on the D-pad to teleport back to it from anywhere on this floor. What's over here then? Damage enemies burn in fire. Didn't I already get this? Oh, did I lose it? Do I lose it every time I play? Oh, I don't know like that either. The halls of Anadia, so mesmerizing in their magnificence, were to be found at the end of a long road. Where's my narrator? What the hell? Why am I doing this? And a hero never knows what is waiting them at the end of a road. Moving is more important than reaching. I'm okay, that made no sense. But yes. I think I agree. Ish. Is this gonna happen every time I visit a new area? Is this gonna kick my ass? Oh, what's that? Something good or bad? I don't know. I was about to say, do the spikes follow me? That's rude.
A set of daggers made just for him. They would be his guide to finding himself, his focal point.
Or whittling.
The boy tested them. They felt good. Not too heavy, not too light. Like an extension of himself.
The Phoenix extension.
Uncle Ben suggested a few practice swings outside. The daggers sliced the air, guided with an easy grace. His nephew was clearly a natural with the blades and would be ready to join his father and sister in no time. But the boy's mother had words on that subject. 2 of her children were already risking their lives, and she would not have her precious little boy out there as well. Regretfully, he took the daggers away. Who was he to argue with a mother when it involved her child? Handing over the daggers was like abandoning a part of himself. He was meant for them, meant to be out there fighting for what was right. He just needed to convince them.
I really don't feel for him. You know, I was like, oh yeah, he should go out there. No, he shouldn't. Why would I want him to?
A mother away from her child would cause worry even in the best of times. And this was far from the best of times. It had been more than a year since Mark, Mary's eldest son, had gone to live in the monastery deep in the forest. The same forest was now the source of such worrying news.
Okay, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Children of Morta on Nintendo Switch. Well, it's not exactly a home run, right? I think it's good, right? Largely. I do like the graphics, although I think they're a little too blocky for my taste. You know, they basically look like an old LucasArts game, except obviously a little bit more higher resolution, but they sort of have that same feeling, you know, where it's you got just enough detail, but you wish you kind of had more detail. I think the idea of the narrator is good. That the person doing the narration, I think, is very, very good. It's you know, really overzealous and really into it, but that sort of makes the charm. I think the sound and the music are also very, very good. I think the combat could use a little work. I mean, all you're doing is fighting in this game, and it doesn't really feel like good combat. You know, it feels like adequate combat. And I think that's good for a lot of games and good enough for most games. But it seems like they spent so much time with everything else that the combat maybe wasn't really a focus. And it is still early, so there is a possibility that there's more options that open up. And you know, maybe I'll have more options when I'm fighting, and it'll feel a little different. But honestly, I just like let go of the D-pad, and I just mash the attack button, and that's pretty much all I'm doing right now. I mean, yes, you can use a shield to block, and you can dodge sometimes, which I don't agree with. I think dodging should just be free. But yeah, it's not terrible. I don't want to, you know, paint a poor picture of it, but it is just average. And in a game where they spent a lot of time making things above average and great in a lot of instances, it feels a little disappointing that it's just such a simple feeling combat mechanic. I would still suggest that people pick this up. I think it's a well-made game. I think most people will enjoy it. But for me, I do wish, with the game being all combat, that the combat was better. And I don't really like the system they have for their dungeon regeneration. That doesn't really feel good either. Those levels feel incredibly generic. And again, you know, so much work is crafted into the graphics and the sound. I just would have liked them to craft more into the creation of the levels themselves, instead of relying on the procedural generation, which again, it doesn't feel exciting, and you combine that with the combat that doesn't feel exciting, and I don't know, it's definitely a mixed bag. We'll play more of it. Maybe I'll change my mind as things become more complex and you earn more powers and you have more upgrades. But right now, my initial impressions are okay. I don't know. If you like what you saw, I'll pick it up for yourself, of course. But we'll see more, and I'm not ready to give up on it yet. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.